Hey, it's Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it's Tuesday. It's June 12th. This will be our chart lesson for today, and it's going to be short and sweet today. This was a terrible day. There just wasn't much going on here. We were really in a range, and you can see really from 8 o'clock, from right around the regular open, 8:30 to really almost 11. There's just nothing happening. We finally shot up here, and then we kind of got outside of the range. Really later in the day you would have had to probably move this up. I think I originally had it there and then I moved it down to here, and then you probably would have had to move it back up later in the day. You can see that, and we ended up getting a little failed break higher here with a couple more opportunities to get short, but by the end of the day I would have had it here. Earlier on I had it right here, and so I'm gonna leave it up there just for references, because by the time we get over here, that's where we want it to be, and it doesn't really come into play except for maybe this trade. So there just really wasn't a lot of opportunity to. You had to be really patient, because when 7 o'clock came, we were in this big up move, and there's just really no good opportunity to enter it. Maybe you enter here. If you notice, you move up and you try to correct a couple of times and it's bouncing off that trend line, and we're not quite to the overnight high, but look how far away we are from the EMA. So I don't think you want to risk that entering way up here. So I don't want to mark that trade. We finally got a turn down here, and you would have had a second entry here, but look at that. That's all congestion. Of course, you got to understand here that the reason we're probably not going higher is because we're so far away from the EMA, but there's no good signal bar. There's no real reason to enter that, because it could tick lower and turn up and stop you out and then come back down. So you just really have to sit tight. And then the same thing here, you get a lower high here, but you got to go short right into the EMA. There's a lot of stem on that one, so you might let it break below this bar here and then drop a limit order back up here for a little better entry and see if you can get filled. And if you would have, it would have dropped down. So you might could argue for that one if you entered under that circumstance. I doubt I would be willing to, or I know I would not be willing to enter right there on a stop right below that, right into that other low, and right there at the EMA. If it would have ticked higher here, this would have been the better place to enter, but it never does. It does break higher here, but now you got to enter way down here, so far away from the EMA, and this is just an inside bar to this one, and you would have got trapped here. And you don't really want to go long there, because you got this trend line working down, and it's in the middle of what looks like to be a range. And so you do get a break here, and notice you got a low first entry, and so you get a nice second entry here, and it actually broke higher and turns and goes out the other side. But you could have just waited for that one to close, because you're expecting prices to make a new low here, or probably even head to the lower side of what looks like a range today. But we just get hung up and start going sideways here. But notice that this is basically a double bottom, so you count that as a new low. So this is a failed second entry short here, and you got multiple tests of that price level there, and this could also be really looked at as a higher double. This is a double bottom basically, and so it's a double bottom here and then a higher double bottom and a relatively bullish bar on a second entry long. So you'd probably consider that one, because it doesn't look, if you notice what it looks like at the far right, it's not really looking like you don't really have a range going sideways here. That doesn't come until you get a few more bars. So you might enter long on that one. It would have worked, but by the time you get another chance, you can see you're going sideways here, and this is too close into that double top, so you don't want to enter there. And you don't get a very good signal bar up here. And then finally you get a decent signal bar here, and you get that drop lower. And a lot of times, we always talk about it, is you might catch that major low here, and guess what? It does. That's the best move of the day. And so if you catch this one, you could ride that one all the way up. I would have exited when it made this lower high here and starts heading down. I wouldn't hold on to any runner past that. In fact, I probably would have exited right up here at the high, and that would have got you out right in here somewhere. Right in here around 20, somewhere between 29.72 and 29.73, closer to the 29.73 most likely. So that was the, so far by 10 o'clock, you've only got two decent setups here. Again, you might have considered that one, but this one's tempting being that far away from the EMA, but look at that trend line and everything's still, and even that one's creeping up that trend line, and you see it could have easily stopped you out when it came higher. It didn't, but you don't know that ahead of time, and you got to play. You got to play by the rules, or you'll get burned more times than not. Yeah, it worked this time, but you're generally better off to wait on that lower high, which is here, and that's way too bullish of a bar. This is just an inside bar. You are expecting prices to come back to the EMA, so you might risk going short there. I'm not going to mark it because really your stop would have to go above this bar right here, and I just think that's too much of a risk. Notice what happens. We push down, we push through the EMA, we come back to that trend line, we test it to the tick, and we get a bearish bar. So I like going short there. We come back and make a double top and another big bearish bar, and so you can enter there again. It does end up coming back. You might have looked at this like a failed second entry long here, but look, by the time prices break low, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bars stacked up there. That's congestion, and this is a true doji, and this is about a tick away from being a true doji, and they've all got stems on both sides, so you definitely don't want to be going short there, and you can't go long because you got this channel working down here. So this one's real, that's the only thing that keeps you out of that is that congestion, because if you'd enter there, it instantly turns and it runs out the other side and stops you out. And really what you've got is just a small range right there. You're just going sideways. So if you don't have room to get out before these highs, that's where you get the most touches with including the closes right there. So if you don't have room to get out, you can't be entering there. So, and then you finally get a little failed break higher, but it also turns down where that resistance level was, and you really could count this. You got a high, then you test it once, and that's basically the same thing. So you could treat that like a double test, but it's a failed breakout. You're looking for prices to test the low again. It is only a first entry, but there's a couple different reasons why you could like this one. So I made it green, but you could argue for this one to be red. It's real close, and that would have caught the second best move of the day. And then that was it. There's one other option here. Notice you get your break, and then you move, and you get this big overshoot. And if you look, you figure that even if you look at that like it's a double channel, which it probably is, then you might play this right here, but you can't be sure that's a double channel. It just looks like a big overshoot at this point. So that's the reason I didn't put this on here. But if you did see this as a midline, and you notice that your lows are here, you're not there yet, you might look at this like a failed second entry long, because that's a new high. First entry, second entry, it's a double test of that midline, a nice bearish bar, but look, you had a lot of support across there, but you pushed through and pulled back, so it's like a breakout pullback short. So if you saw it like this, then you could probably play that one. I'll go ahead and put the arrow there. I'll make it green just because you had to see the big picture to take that trade. Because if you're just looking at it like this, you've got a big overshoot, and you don't want to be going short right into that, with an overshoot, because it's probably going to reverse soon. So anyway, but if you did see it as the two-tier channel, which I believe it probably is, because it's a perfect measured move down there, and it does play right off of it, and it plays off of it again down here. So And this was after 2 o'clock, but being that far away from the EMA and just at 2 o'clock, I wouldn't have a problem taking that trade either. So that's about it. There just wasn't much happening today. It's just a weak range day, and we had all that big volatility early in the year, and we may be now it's summertime, so we may be in the summer doldrums. So just be prepared for that. It may slow down a lot, and you just got to be real careful, especially in this stuff right here. You got to switch to very tight range rules, and you got to make sure you got room to get out, and you just need to be in the middle of the range is the most dangerous place. But the only reason I like these couple of trades here is because the range just got real tight, and so you're still buying the lows and selling the highs if you were going short. If you had a bearish bar right there, I wouldn't have been afraid to take that one, but on a true doji, I'm not going short right there. No way. It's too much chance for error. So anyway, that's what I saw today, and it wasn't much, but it's just it's that time of year probably. So, but anyway, I'm not going to beat around the bush today. I've still got some catching up to do from being gone. So I will wrap this one up. We'll be back again to do it tomorrow on Wednesday, but I'm done for today. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.